fella. Okay, so I'm going to get straight into it. What I'm going to be talking about is the UAP capabilities, and it's really profound what we know now about UAP. I hate the name, to be honest. It's UFO. Yeah, you agree, guys? I mean, UAP, I started with UAP 20 years ago when I'm doing some studies in meteorology, because everything's UAP. But now they come along with UAP, and do you know one of the reasons they've done it? Because UAP consists of so many different things. Lights in the sky, and some of them are sentient and seemingly non-physical. So are they some type of living creatures or something? Or you know, organisms? We don't know. And some of them are structured craft, and some of them are in between. So the heading UFO don't work no more, and I get what they're doing at the Pentagon level, changing things, calling them get rid of ET, because it's exciting times now. Because you, me, everybody, we're living at the time when the narrative's changing. It's not changed. Now, people say 60, 70 years. Forget that. If you go back to the early 1900s, the Aurora, Texas, it's over 100 years ago that they've been stuffing this narrative down our throats. They're coming from outer space, exotic crafts, travelling the vast distances of space to come and see us. And what for? Because they care about mankind? No. Because they care about the ecology of the Earth? No. So it starts to get very interesting when you start to realise, hang on a second, this doesn't stack up. It's too big a pill now to swallow. Nobody's going to swallow it anymore. Where are they all coming from? Considering the amount of UFOs that are seen on a regular basis around the planet, it's something ridiculous between 8 and 20 seconds on a 24-hour basis. That equals hundreds and hundreds of thousands of UFOs are seen every day, and that's not counting the ones that we don't get to hear about. Being conservative, you could say, yeah, some of them are misidentifications, some of them are hoaxes, but it still leaves hundreds and hundreds of thousands. NASA were forced to do an investigation. They look out into space. Started off with SETI. SETI astronomers asked the question, and you know what their reply was? Space is unusually quiet. Isn't that really an unusual thing? It should be a hive of activity out there. Now, don't get me wrong, you do get bits and bobs, because they like to, when we've got stuff going out there, they're kind of interested. But NASA confirmed 2 years ago in September, there's not enough evidence to support that they are extraterrestrial. In 1966, John Keel came forward. You know, if you remember John Keel from the Mothman Prophecies, spent a lifetime in his subject. He came to the last conclusion, these things aren't extraterrestrial. In 1977, you won't get to hear much about this. Hynek, he was never one for the nuts and bolts UFO. And in Project Blue Book, special report numbers 14, he stated, I don't believe these are extraterrestrial. Jacques Vallée, I don't believe these are extraterrestrial. What happened to them? They got shunned. And that's done purposely, because the people that do know don't want to tell you that this phenomenon is right under our noses. It can interact with us at any given time. It controls the skies, and we can do zero about it. We're not in control. That's scary. They're not going to drop that on any of the laps of any academics. So, change the narrative. Slowly bring us into the concept that ET's going and being replaced by NHI, non-human intelligence. Extraterrestrial is going and being replaced by interdimensional. You see where we're going? We're living at a really incredible time. For the first time, we are seeing the narrative change. They're trying to get us there without telling us. We've got to work it out. And we are. That's exactly what we're doing. If we look at UAP, just regarding light phenomena, new experiments carried out using professional rangefinders. These are great tools now, and they've come on a lot. They're real good now, and the distance that you can get on these is incredible. And you can point a rangefinder out there, and if it hits back off an object, be it whatever it is, it's going to come back and tell you it's 4,000 meters away, it's 6,000 meters away. And you can work out how far they are away. Now, if you can work out and do triangulation, you start to come up with approximations of size. How big are they? Because when you see a light in the sky, how do we judge it? We don't know if it's this small and near or this big and far away. And that's the problem. Very difficult. So rangefinders becoming handy. Now, the light regarding UAP is phenomenal because it breaks all the rules. This is why you don't get into it much, because the guys that are looking into this can't explain it. It's the physics behind it doesn't work. If we, for instance, we can see an image here of a UFO, 2000 lux. Now, illumination and illumination. Illumination is what's coming off this thing. But we see light on the ground occasionally, don't we, from some of these objects? But it's the illumination, it's a problem, because we can work out by physics and maths how much light we should get from these things. Well, the biggest problem that we have when it comes to this is that the light phenomena, and this is what you're seeing here, is not drones, it is the phenomena. We're used to seeing it, I've seen it, Paul's seen it, a lot of people have seen this stuff. It's the phenomena. But the light source, the emitting, is absolutely incredible. Using light meters, you can gain access to that information of how much they are producing. And it starts to get to ridiculous figures. Now, we've probably been to a stadium at some time, maybe. Stadium lighting, you know, they emit an incredible source of lighting onto the ground, and that's what it's designed to do. Light falls upon the surface. The larger the area of illumination, the dimmer it becomes. It's normal physics. Luminance from some UAP range from, get this, 7,000 watts to a tremendous 50,000 watts of light being pushed out from some of this phenomena. If you take in comparison, stadium lighting is about 1,000 watt. So we can see the floodlight on the ground, can't we, from those lights. But sometimes we've got that incredible 50,000 watt output from UAP and next to zero illuminance. It's breaking the boundaries of physics. It's not acting like normal light should. Science will say light is constant. We know that from space. But when it comes to UAP, no. They have their own set of rules. The problem is, though, with light, we can't understand sometimes how people can get injured. And it can happen. UAP in close proximity can cause retinal burn. We've heard about this. It's not nice. It's itchy, painful, takes a long time to recover, sometimes never, resulting in swelling, watering, irritation, bloodshot eyes, and even the loss of eyesight. And we'll be unaware to it, because if we're going to look in the sunny day, in the afternoon, and look at the sun, we're going to be like this, because that's physics. We know how much light we're getting from the sun. We know it's going to damage our eyes. But when you look at an object in the sky, some of this phenomena, we don't know what the luminance is because we're not getting the illumination effects. And yet, just because you've not got this brilliant light on top of you, it's damaging and we don't even know it. And that's one of the biggest problems that we're faced with, about being in location and not realizing the dangers that might be involved. What is interesting is that we've seen this light phenomena before. It acts the same, it looks the same. It's when we record it or photograph it, it's been caught on video, it's been caught on photographs. It does the same things. It morphs, it changes shape, it materializes, dematerializes. The only difference is scale, is size. And what are we looking at here? Paranormal light phenomena. There's no difference. In fact, all the physics in regarding paranormal light phenomena seems to be exactly the same as the UAP light phenomena. It's just a different size. I've done cases for a number of people. One of the first corporate investigations I did was for the Ministry of Defence in one of their own buildings. And they had 2 football-sized balls of light not only being recorded on CCTV, but seen by the staff. And they obviously wouldn't work there. That caused a managerial problem, which we didn't know how to deal with. Hence, I went in on a private corporate investigation. It was confidential at the time, but now it's out. And they were seeing these go down the corridor and take intelligent turnings into rooms and seeing it. So what is that? Something paranormal? Something ufological? And as we know now, just from even Paul's investigations at Humby, the two are crossing over. The association between paranormal and UFOs is so prominent, but we said this years ago, God, 10 years ago myself, Barry, coming out and saying, well, it's all one phenomena, but it's acting in different ways. Well, didn't we get shunned? Didn't we get the raised eyebrows? I got strange emails from people saying, Steve, you must have lost the plot. Because this was hardlined paranormal investigators that just go into buildings and think, they're not interested in UFOs, I've lost the plot. And then the UFO guys would have a go and say, what do you know about? That's not paranormal, that's ufological. So you can see the problem. We've created the problem ourselves by putting things into boxes. Compartmentalization. Didn't they do a good job on us? Because whilst we're all thinking paranormal, cryptid phenomena, supernatural, ufological, and all the other wonderful things in between are separate, when you want the data and you're not finding it, it's not giving up. It's just because you're not looking in the right camp. Because the information you need is in the paranormal camp, not the ufological camp. But that's what they've done on purpose. They've introduced the compartmentalization so we can't work it out. We can't connect the dots. And the first thing is just to say, get rid of the boxes. Get rid of the compartmentalization. It shouldn't exist. As soon as you do that, you start to realize, oh, hang on a second. This is the same as this. That's the same as that. And that's what they didn't want us to do. They wanted to keep this separate for as long as they possibly can, because they know one day someone's going to come along and start putting the dots together and realizing, hang on, what you've been telling us or what we've been learned for the last 100 years is a ruse, if not less. We also know, again, breaking the boundaries of physics, lights can be altered due to UFO phenomena. Car headlights, there's been many cases where people are driving, there's a UFO's been seen close to the ground, the car headlights at night bend towards the object. It's not going down the road anymore. Suddenly it's gone over here and it's pointing towards the object. The one photograph on the right-hand side there, you can see a light coming down, you can see it's bending, is a real photograph taken from a UFO firing a light down to the ground, but it bends. It's starting to bend. People have reported this time and time again, and it got dismissed, put under the carpet, and not to talk about, because they didn't want people to get into this new types of physics, because it's problematic. How do you bring academics on board? Well, you're going to sit down with a physicist and tell him you're wrong? That's not going to go down well. We've done experiments now. We know light can be magnetic, affected through magnetics. When on UAP, UFO, call it what you will, manifests, and that's what they do. They manifest. You might see them traversing through the skies, but that's often usually because they're traversing from one location to the other. But most of them are manifesting and demanifesting. If you want to refer it into the paranormal, it's materializing and dematerializing. They're the same thing. It's the same physics that paranormal and ufological are using, and they can seemingly just disappear and reappear. And this is a problem for us because they don't want to get into that too much, because what's the physics that's involved? In an experiment regarding rangefinders, over a number of weeks of UAPs were seen in the same location over the sea, and the rangefinders were used to obtain accurate readings. Using multiple range finders, it was possible to triangulate. Now, as you can see, this is the photograph on the left of two UAP seen over the sea of the coastal region. Now, there were, on the right side, you can see the image of the ones out at sea. There were 3 out at sea and 2 closer. And they triangulated using rangefinders. Now, through this process, they could work out that about 60% of the UAP seen like this range from 2 to 4 meters. It's not big, that, is it? From 2 meters to 4 meters. However, the amount of light they're putting out is an incredible source. And basically, I mean, just to power that alone, how do we do that? It's like, is it some type of small nuclear reactor that's involved? Because that's what it's going to take to deliver this much energy for the creation of light it's producing. It's very weird. So the guys have been doing this for a while, and they came back with information. You know, it's 572 meters away, these two objects. And over a period of time, they kept appearing in the same location. And they kept getting the same figures back. The rangefinders were working fine, telling them how far they are away. After a short period of time, because this phenomena evolves, it's clever, it learns. It knew what was going on, and then all of a sudden, the figures changed. They're still in the same place, because you've been seeing them every night, appear in the same location, but all the rangefinders, not just one, but all of them start giving out figures like 48 meters away. If that was 48 meters away, I think the guys would probably be a bit worried. False data. So how did it do it? It was seeing that they're producing a magnetic field between themselves and your equipment. And it produces a magnetic field, so when you come to read how far I am away, you're going to hit my magnetic field first. You might not see it, and it's going to give you that reading. They knew, they evolved. They're clever. And this is what happens, because as soon as you start getting consistency in reports, they kind of realize, hang on a second, you know what, we're not going to allow this, we're going to stop this, and starts throwing their sabots in the works. This happens time and time again. They can generate magnetic fields to change the data because they know you want it. Now, I've heard people say many times, they come to me and said, Steve, we saw this craft in the sky, a triangle object or whatever, but we filmed it, but we couldn't really get it on camera. And I thought, well, how good are cameras now? Look what's on these mobile phones. They're incredible, aren't they? I mean, you can shoot up to 8K on some of these phones. Now, the problem is that I'd never had that experience. You know, I could say, well, you know what? I'm not going to dismiss it. Maybe they are affecting the cameras. And what you're seeing is not being recorded. Or, think about it, is that what you're seeing is not what is real. It's the camera that films what is real. Now, sometimes the camera will film exactly what you are seeing, but sometimes, and it tends to be more structured crafts, they tend to stop you from allowing to record them in the same way you are seeing them. And this happened actually to myself and Jackie, my partner, only about a month or two ago. Where? In the back garden. Now, we're used to it. You know, many times we'll kind of sit there and she'll say to me, let's go and have a look. What for? Well, I just feel I needed to go and have a look. Sometimes I'll do it. But it's on those occasions we see it. And you're always left with that thought in your mind. Why did we suddenly want to get up and go and look? It's like there's some connection to know. Now, the image on the right was the structured craft we were seeing. It was large, it was moving slowly, no sound, and it was relatively low. And it was coming right over the house. And I could see that there was orange and red lights on it. It was a kind of diamond shape. I was trying to figure out because I was confused. I took my phone out, it's a damn good phone, camera on it, and it's not recording what I'm seeing. The only thing it would let me record was an orange ball of light. I'm not seeing an orange ball of light, I'm seeing a proper structured craft. So of course I asked Jackie to do the same. And she took her phone out. And we can hear us in actually, the noise in the background is Jackie's washer and dryer going. But you can overhear us trying to figure out why are we not getting it on film.
What is that? That is nothing normal. Are you seeing red and orange there, yeah?
Yep.
Are you seeing any shape to it? I know you can't see it on the camera, but there's definitely... it's moving. very, very slow. Is it triangular?
I don't know.
It looks a bit triangular, doesn't it? You can't see it on the camera.
I can see it on my camera. It looks like it does look like it's diamond shaped.
It's diamond shaped, yeah.
But not on the camera.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. It's
Aye, aye. Why is it? Where's it gone?
gone.
Went immediately in and drew what we saw, a structured craft. This was kind of a representation of what we saw. It was not a ball of light, but the camera turned out to be a ball of light. So what's happening here is the camera filming the real thing, and what we're seeing is a masquerade, or is it that they kind of stopped the camera from doing what it should be doing? We've always known the eye is never acted like the cameras, right from its first day of manufacturers of cameras. It's always been like that. So now we've got to even ask the question, what's been manipulated, us or the technology? We see these regularly. These are just photographs that I've taken. Now, taking in consideration, when I'm seeing UFOs, which I have been doing since I was 7 years of age, no let up, I only really capture about 2%, to be honest with you. You know, I mean, I've left them in the skies and got bored and walked in. I have. It's just ridiculous. Some people think you're going, what? You're joking? I said, no. But I've captured light phenomena. I've captured structured objects. I thought this was a solar balloon on the right-hand side, going against the wind. But it traversed so quickly, it could not have been a solar balloon. Don't know what it is. Structured crafts. I've been capturing these all my life, you know, on film and camera. And like I say, only 2% of the time I'm taking a photograph. These are other ones from the back garden, believe it or not. People say, oh, do you want to come on a sky watch? I say, look, do you know what? I'll just go out in my back garden. It's kind of got that way, you know.
So, in the back garden again, and there's an object up there, sat in the sky.
Above that cloud, isn't it? Just why? Is it because of the cloud going past it, do you think?
Yeah, there's definitely something
No
there.
cloud there though, is there?
There's definitely something.
So it phases in and out. This is the damn hard to find. You can catch them in the sky when they're reflective. On a sunny day mostly with a bit of cloud around. However, you get the camera on it because you're thinking, Steve, you must be the worst filmer in the world like this. But the problem is, I've got it, and then it's like gone invisible, it's phased out. And where is it? Where is it? And then it phases back in. This tends to be what they often do. However, there has been times when they show little extra things. This, I have to thank Jerry at the back there, who's helped us. Captured this. Jackie and myself also. Christmas Day, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we were sat down for Christmas dinner, weren't we, buddy? There's a little jet exhaust or something coming out the bottom of it. Just now and again, see it? Something emitting out the bottom of it. Again, back garden. No idea. Absolutely no idea what these are. But in this case, it's got like some plume of white something coming down out of it. Very, very strange.
There are also plans for new roads, a tunnel under the Peak District, and smart cards for buses and trains.
What the hell was that?
I'm just sat in the computer room and I look out and go, oh, you know, it happens so often. This was during the night. Now,
the bright.
I thought, are these
white with a red steady light?
Are they drones?
Well,
what are these things?
there is no sound. There's no breeze tonight, really. It's clear. It's 11:34 p.m. And I have no idea. Let's zoom in on that. I don't know what that is.
It's rotating. Has one red section on it.
Well, that is no plane, that's for sure. It isn't a helicopter.
Was anybody in St Anne's a number of years ago at the Probe conference when I lectured on UFOs and walked straight outside and what was in the sky above us? Amazing. And that is, it's a disc. You know, I don't know what to explain. It was up there for quite a while actually, and it was going against the wind.
It's in the Blackpool Gazette, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, it was it? Yeah. Straight out of talking about UFOs and people going, oh, I wish I could see one, bang. Do you know, and it's crazy. We were in Hamforth, was it? Somewhere like that. I went and lectured about UFOs, went outside and bang, there was another one. That's right. There's some wonderful toys out there now, and this is what's different now. Now we're armed with some really good tech. There are a number of things that are really good. LiDAR scopes are really good. SWIRs, Starvis cameras, vortex rangefinders, thermal, infrared, full spectrum cameras, as well as EMF, Geiger meters and radiation monitors. This is the latest thing on the right hand side. What a gadget this is. Because we know that phenomena, when it has contact with something, it often leaves behind a radiation area. And it's usually strange, short-lived. And I've said this to Paul. Paul Sinclair's been out there. I mean, he really talked to me about these strange animal deaths, a deer and stuff, and it was weird. And I said to him, take a Geiger counter out. He didn't really have one at the time, so I gave him a Geiger counter. Go out there, you need to measure. He goes out there, it's hot, what I refer to hot. It's radioactive. How long was that radioactive for? Probably a day, at best. Now, if you bring a radiologist out, the first thing they're going to say to you, they're not surprised that things can be radioactive. There's many ways to get radioactivity. But it's its longevity. Radiation lasts a long time. It just doesn't disappear without a trace. Now they've got equipment out that you can hold and walk around, and it will literally light up and show you radioactive spots on the ground. I think that's what we're going to be seeing at Bempton at some point, because you know what, it's just crying out for it, isn't it? There are wonderful toys and gadgets out there that can tell us the things that we can't see or feel, because you know what, we are the most limited creature on the planet. Why is your pet dog better sensors than you? Eyesight, hearing, smell. Why is the cat? Insects, birds, everything. Why are we the supposed to be the most intelligent creature on the planet, which I often question sometimes when you watch the news, why are we designed to be so limited? It's like we've been redesigned purposely for the phenomena to work around us and not, we're just oblivious to it. It's really strange. We also know now, by utilising full spectrum camera, we can see an image here on the full spectrum one side, a normal visual on the left. It's the same object. One's visual range that we're seeing with our eyes. The other side is a full spectrum camera. It shows a bright light, a light aura produced around the craft. But the full spectrum reveals what's behind the light. There's an object. There's something there that's generating the light aura around it. Now, it's speculative, but it's interesting that there are a number of things that could be used to produce that auric field around them, but it's high-tech stuff. It's the stuff the government have got, and they're not going to tell us yet. However, We can cut through the charade of just light and figure out what's inside them by utilizing specialized equipment. Full spectrum's a great one to use. Now, I don't often talk about Tic Tac because I'm fed up of hearing about Tic Tac. When myself and Barry came out years ago, 8, 9 years ago, we said, from the research we did, Tic Tac's ours. Oh, no, it's not. And of course, we got hounded. You know, there's no way anything can be man-made that can move that fast. You know, I remember reading the headline in the newspapers, it wasn't that long ago, and it was said, you know, as they do, scaremongering. Oh, Putin's got rockets now that could reach England, and they travel 600 miles per hour. I thought, okay, let's go back to David Adair, rocket genius in 1971, created a rocket, and this is why the military came out and basically took on control of this, a containment engine. It traveled over 8,000 miles an hour off the landing pad. It went so fast, they didn't even see it. What surprised them was because any time you take a rocket up, there's a blast. We know that. But in this case, there was a double blast. You've never seen before, the US military. Because it traveled so fast, it punched a hole between Earth and space. And it came back down like a vacuum and it went boom. It blew the roofs off houses, the cows, they were gone. You know, it was tremendous. So yes, we've got technology that can move. There was the 10-year plan. Every 10 years we get faster, double the speed, and then suddenly by the 1970s we plateaued. Still taking the same time to get to America at 8.5 hours. It's ridiculous. It plateaued. It's been like that. Oh my God, we're going to get there, and plateaus, because everything else went black after that. They don't want to tell us what they got. And if we do the normal physics, aeronautical physics, which were back then, they said, every 10 years we'll create an aircraft that can double the speed of the one before. And it's always been like that. Do you know what speed we'll be traveling at now? 350 Mach. That's quicker than your eye can blink. It's quicker than your eye can blink. We've had people come forward about the Tic Tac. You've got Michael Tuber here, former US Air Force intelligence specialist, claims that Tic Tac UFOs shown in Navy video releases this year from the USS Nimitz off the coast of Southern California are, quote, are not from outer space. When he was pressed to say, well, okay, so what do you know? What do you know then? Not saying anymore. Do you know how many people have come forward now and said Tic Tac's American technology? Over 100 high officials in various departments. We were right. And now people are saying, yeah, do you know what? I can go with that. They've got some toys out there. They're not manned. They don't need to be manned. Because man wouldn't survive in it. And there was turns and speeds. But they've got some incredible technology out there. And that's the problem, that identifying things in the sky. We know about how Tic Tacs have been being used, utilizing radar systems, satellites, the Hawkeyes, all sorts of different things. And it was perfectly staged to have all this new equipment fitted in the Roosevelt and the Nimitz. And then, boom, we have all these Tic Tacs. Because they wanted to prove the equipment that they just put in. It's specialized equipment that can pick up high velocity objects, even things you don't even pick up on radar. They were testing their own equipment. Back in '73, they had the stealth fighter. We didn't see it till '96 during the Gulf War. They test flown it. Who against? American pilots flying the Starfighter. They thought they were seeing UFOs. Can you imagine? It goes on and on.
Earlier this year, I met with the DoD's All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office. They tried to have me question very valid UAP reports like the Tic Tac incident, and even coming to stating possibly that the Tic Tac was American technology.
Now, Wise Arrow, which is the UFO program for the Pentagon, bring in the guys and say, well, you know what? It could be our tech. What are they doing? They're trying to say in a way, okay, calm it, it's some of ours, don't worry about it. They've got some wonderful toys out there. That was at the UAP hearings recently. They're trying, it's there in plain sight. There was also many lies. They tried to spring these lies on us about UFO metamaterials. Oh yeah, we got part of a UFO, we're going to analyze it. Oh, it's made up of all these layers, bismuth, silver magnesium. But where the lie was, is to say, oh, 4% isotopic variations. The 4% isotopic variations means that the bismuth or silver magnesium is not the silver magnesium or the bismuth we find on planet Earth. So therefore, it must be outer space. That was a lie. In fact, even in the report here, isotopic analysis, magnesium levels, isotope composition is consistent with other materials where manufactured and used terrestrially, not extraterrestrially. They've been lying to you, saying that, oh yes, these things must be manufactured from outer space. Do you know what they're made of? About 99% aluminium, but very pure aluminium. It has to be industrialized. The aluminium's all over the planet, it's abundant. 25 miles from Earth down, all around the Earth is plenty of aluminium, but it has to be industrialized. And this is why we've got so much purity aluminium in these UFO things, and they are from these objects, but they're not manufacturing of things, of materials from another world. They're manufactured from items here on Earth. And that tells us a lot about where this phenomenon is coming from. It tells you a lot about how long they've been here. But they won't want to tell you that because that's the ruse. They want to make you think they're coming from other planets. God forbid they'll tell you where they come from. Now, Barry mentioned very earlier a little bit about the drones over New Jersey. There are hundreds of drones over New Jersey. And the problem with that is for the first 2 days, real phenomena appeared in the skies. Over 300,000 witnesses in New Jersey alone. Forget the other places. Most of them over military bases. We've got to do something about these drones all over the military bases. Where do you think they came from? They came from the military bases. They've got wonderful toys, and what they do is, to create confusion and absurdity, they'll make one that looks really weird shape, and then the next one will be different, and the next one will be different, and they'll have different lights and different sequences. And when you look at them, you just think, you give up. And then what happens? The FAA, because they did an investigation, said, don't worry, we cleared them for flight. So what, are they ours then? Well, they must be ours. And didn't that dilute it all? It was all ours. Because they couldn't control the fact that UAP, true phenomena, has been witnessed in the skies, they panicked. What are we going to do? We can't hide this. It's in front of hundreds of thousands of witnesses. Send the toys out. Dilute the situation, and when an investigation takes place, FAA are going to turn around and say, don't worry, we cleared them for flight, and everyone's going to think, oh, it's just all ours, don't worry about it. It's some of the toys that America's got. These things were every feasible shape, size. We had true phenomena in the skies as well, plus the drone stuff. And it was crazy. But it didn't just happen in America, it happened in other places, and in the UK a little bit, actually. So what was it? Some type of demonstration by the phenomena saying, we're going to appear here for a duration of time? Ha! You can't do nothing about it. How are you going to hide this one? Well, it's the best way to deal with this was to throw the toys up in the sky. And that confused it, and it all got diluted away, and now it's not talked about anymore. Very good psyops, that, isn't it? Very clever. So, we do know, Ben Rich said years ago, you know, Ben Rich was the head of Lockheed Martin. He couldn't help himself. Somebody should have buttoned his lips. Every time he did a lecture about someone, you know, a Lockheed Skunk Works or the SR-71 and the history and stuff, he just could not help himself from chattering about things we've got. We now can take ET home. Oh, should I have said that? We've got things that even would make George Lucas envious. Look at the photo on the right hand there. Doesn't that look like something that's just come straight out of a Star Wars film? It's a real piece of footage taken over Florida, over the Carnival Cruise area, witnessed by many people, filmed on their phones. It was traversing the sky at 20 miles an hour. What's keeping it aloft? It's got jet engines or something on it, so it couldn't obviously go fly. It can go fast. It was traveling at 20 miles an hour. It's got a glass cockpit, observational, no markings, no US insignia. It looks like it's something that's come out of a Star Wars film. And when Ben Rich turns around and said, do you know what, we've got things that George Lucas would be envious about? Damn right they have. And better. This is old stuff, not the new stuff.
To drones?
Well, you had said that you knew you thought the government knew what was happening with these drones over New Jersey. There were some by Bedminster.
I don't know, they're over Bedminster a lot. So
What happened?
I'm going to give you a report on drones about 1 day into the administration.
He didn't get it 1 day. It took about 2.5 weeks. And do you know what they said to him? Zip. They're not going to say nothing. You know, they didn't tell him. But the thing is that these things are happening and it's just brushed over. And if it doesn't get brushed over and they start to get pressed, they'll say, redact it, black it out. And then what they'll do then, they'll even stamp it with saying national security. Because when you look at the UAP hearings, it's like, oh, you're getting to the good stuff. It's like, stop, skiff, national security. You don't hear about it. Oh, I can tell you about some great stuff, but I can't tell it. I'll have to tell you in a skip. We don't get to hear anything. It's an absolute waste of time. We're never going to get there. And half the clowns are delivering the information. You think to yourself, when they're talking about Roswell, and they turn around and say, what's Roswell? The kids in school know what Roswell was. I'm there, I'm like pulling my hair out saying, oh my God, the footage that they're showing. Look at the stuff we've got. Look at the stuff that Paul's got. They're not showing stuff like that, some obscure triangular thing in the sky. What is it? Oh, I don't really know. It's in night vision. Is it the scope effect when you zoom in on something and it causes that strange iris looking? It could be all sorts of weird things, but the things they're showing. They've no intentions of giving you anything good from this. The only good thing that's come from it is that now it's in the public mind. And now it's not the elephant in the room discussion, is it? Because people say, oh, well, the Pentagon know about UFOs. At least that's something. You can see the drone phenomena here on the left there in the middle. The phenomena on the right. This is New Jersey taken on CCTV camera. It's speeded up just 4. It's on the coast. And there is a bank. This bit here is a bank of cloud which goes down towards the sea, so they're entering it. But look at them. Now, the last time I heard anything like this, imagine it in reverse, that they're coming out, was Colaris in 1977 and 78. They came from the sea, hundreds of these things. And they're still trying to pass that off as, oh, it must have been us. They did it on purpose, you know, to make the aliens look bad. Absolute rubbish. And the thing is that we don't know, but they were massive. Some of them were smaller, some of them larger. And over a transition of time, there were hundreds of these things. And that's the problem. It making it difficult to identify what's in the skies. But we do know the real phenomena can materialize, dematerialize. It's gone black there. It's still there, but it's just gone black. Sometimes it goes blacker than the sky. Flaring, they duplicate, they morph, they act intelligently. I mean, you can filming them at high altitude. People on aircraft are filming them. You know, this is over the Atlantic. These light forms, which is the most common form of UAPs being seen now, seem to materialize and dematerialize rather than scoop into the location. This is Jerry Tedesco and his brother John. They have been doing research into UAP on the coastal regions in America of Long Beach. This is one UAP that was photographed by them over a ship. You can see the materialization of one particular object here. And some of them go black. Literally, they disappear. Some of them even go into the water. So they're not problematic regarding traversing in the water, in the sky, maybe even in space. But there is a fourth medium. And at the high level number of think tanks I've been involved in, I've said, and these sometimes are professors, you'd know the names, but I can't tell you the names. And I've said, why are you not talking about the fourth medium? They say transmedium capabilities in the water, in the sky, in space. Why are you avoiding the fourth? And eventually I got an answer. And they said, because we can't give it science. We can't drop it on their legs. They just won't take it. The fourth transmedium travel capabilities is right through solid matter. In other words, UFOs going into mountains, going into cliffs, going into volcanoes, going into the ground. Just, what is that? How did he do that? And this is why I have problems where they say about, we have got them and we are holding them, these beings. Because these beings are capable of apparently metaphysicality. They're both physical and non-physical. They can go, ooh, I'm physical, ooh, no, I'm not. Because they can walk right through a wall and pick up the abductee. How did they pick the abductee up? Well, they were physical then. Well, how can they come through the wall? They went through the ceiling. There are hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of cases like this, where they're metaphysical. They can change, just as UFOs can. Why do you not think they leave a wake in the water? Those splashes. Because the water is not there for them when they're in that mode. It's non-physical. And then sometimes they are. Sometimes they'll leave landing marks on the ground. They're physical when they want to be. So holding one against its will, why didn't it just walk through the wall? So they've got to have some form of mechanism to hold these things. Because everything demonstrates more paranormal actions that they're capable of doing. Radar systems are very interesting. Now, what we've realized now on the new radar systems, there's something referred to as being termed redshift, blue shift. Some of the objects are changing in color. And it is not just about a color change. Because what they've realized is that a redshift, a shift from shorter to longer wavelengths occur when the light source moves away, and blue on the wavelengths occur when the light source moves towards them. Now, only 2 weeks ago, Professor Hal Puthoff, who's part of those think tanks I'm involved in, has stated, and I don't know if he should have, I knew it, but I didn't know he was going to say it, is that when blue shift is happening, this is when they can go through solid matter. And I caught it, I went, what? Hang on a second, rewind. When it goes through solid matter. I thought, oh, was he meant to say that? Did he slip out? He's getting on a bit now. Or has he been given the nod? Yeah, okay, you can say it now. When it goes through physical matter. He's even saying the fourth transmedium capability is there, but they're not going to tell you that, because how do you deliver that to a physicist? Well, you have to tell them that your physics is wrong. You have to empty it out and fill it up with something new. The new stuff. They don't want to get into that. They just want to dip the toe in the water and say, okay, let's leave it there for now. And that's what they're doing. We know, on this particular photograph on the left, the only visible UFO or UAP there is the one there, the bright one. But until you actually go visible with infrared, the other 4 around it are there. You're only seeing one in, so when you see a UFO or see a light in the sky with your eyes, don't assume there's just one, because there could be a multitude around them which are non-visual. You're not seeing them unless you use the right type of equipment. Shady characters, aren't they? Some of these objects, these balls, these lights, seemingly have construction in them. Sometimes they tend to morph and change shape. We've seen this in Ian's lecture today, which are changing shape. Some of them seem to be cube-like. This is a weird photograph. This was taken by the twins. They saw this object in the sky, green-coloured on the photo on the left. It was a UAP photograph because they could see it. So they took photograph of it. Now, what was very odd is this character down here, who was apparently casting a shadow, but he doesn't have a torso. And he wasn't in the frame. There was nobody there. And you think, well, what is that effect on the camera? Is it because it moved? Well, if you look across to the pet side, if it would move the camera and it was phasing here, you'd see the effect on the words. No, it's seemingly like there's an apparition of something caught, which is leaving a shadow So at that moment in time, it's got physicality to it, and yet you're only seeing half of it because its torso's disappeared. And that happened at the same time they were photographing a UAP in the sky. How many times have we keep saying this over and over again? It's all connected. We've seen this in polls, haven't we? Poltergeist phenomena in a warehouse and a UFO lands. I mean, seriously, it's all connected. They haven't got any explanations for this, and it's many other people have got photographs like this. Now, on one occasion, they got a little bit too close to one of these UAP, and it retaliated. And when I say it retaliated, it fired something at them because they had an infrared camera, and all of a sudden, everything went bright on the infrared, as if suddenly they were illuminated by this source, whatever this thing was coming from. And then suddenly found that they could hardly move the legs. They're struggling. They're trying to hobble, struggling to get the legs moving to get back away from this place. They really did struggle. Temporary semi-paralysis paraplegia. That's what happened. And it lasted for 48 hours. And they were exhausted as well as feeling nausea. It was an effect. This thing caused an effect on them. Just as they'd go back to Colaris, firing beams of light at people, being shot, which passed through walls, no escape from them, hitting people in the bed, they can't move and paralysed and they're in pain. Nothing worse than that. It might have only been, a minute? Can you imagine a minute you can't move and you're in pain? You know, they're very clever at what they do. And they got a bit scared with this because they said, okay, now these things we know can retaliate. So, when people knock around and say, do you know what, mate, what are you doing on Saturday? Do you want to go for a sky watch? Just be cautious, because you don't know. Just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not there. This was one of the UAP they filmed coming out of the ocean, going up into the sky, meeting a larger object inside the cloud, paired together, and then went off. They've got hundreds of these pieces of video. What are they? Well, they seem to be coming out the ocean. This was Manitoba, Canada, quite recently, and it was filmed by a number of people. 4 objects, 4 representing the phenomena as is. And you can see them casting light, and they just manifest. You got 2 here, and then you got another 2 that manifest above it, and we don't know what they're doing if they're surveying, but one thing is for sure. These things are never far from water. Never far from water. And look at the stuff it's over Bempton on the coast there, with the ocean. Exactly the same phenomenon manifesting in the skies. Exactly the same. Now, you've probably heard a lot about HICE and stuff recently, or should I say, psionics. Okay, it's an old name. It's been, the stuff's been going on for a long time. They've just wrapped it up in a new wrapper. Skull experiment. We've heard about Nick and Sarah talk about skull experiment. You can see a kind of a initiation or achievement, we could say, scaling on the right here from, say, skull. But then they introduced what is referred to as the C5 protocol with Stephen Greer, taking people out and trying to cause phenomena to manifest. It manifests around seance tables. It can manifest around in the sky. If you've got 6 mediums or 6 meditators sat on a beach, it's the same practice. It's the same thing, it's happening. And it's the process of conjuring, in a sense of speaking. But the achievement levels in C5 were seemingly a bit more better. All HICE did, which is human initiated contact experience, is they didn't just take handfuls of people like C5 do. They go, how many people have experiences here from childhood? We'll take you guys, because the phenomenon knows you, and you get better results. And didn't they? And now this is what's jumped on with psionic circles in a military presence. They're going to use people which are, probably like Paul, myself, Barry, and many others, which have been initiated, had these experiences from a younger age maybe, but the phenomenon is acquainted with them. Let's use these guys, you get better results. And yeah, you do. But they wrapped it up in the military presence of psionic circles. And there are 2 main things that happened there, 2 projects. One's called Haystack, where basically they're not, look, you know, if they're going to say, oh, we're bringing them, we're trying to force them down, we're going to be, they're not. It's just enticement. It's like, you know, holding out some chocolate to a kid. It's enticement, try and get them down, and then all of a sudden, the military jump on them. Bring them down, shoot at them, da-da-da, whatever. You know, it's ethics are a little bit gone out the window here, haven't they? But there was Interloper, and I can't talk too much about Interloper because it's very secret about their stuff. But that was a higher operation, utilizing this method of psionic circles with various military departments, because it's trying to get the tech, and that tech is worth millions. We know because some of it reaches the patent office, and millions of people get millions. And you think, well, where did this come from? There are numerous different ways of psionics. Natural process, the meditational trance state, brain stimulus through, well, you know, there are different pieces of equipment they can use now to stimulate part of the brain, which helps you connect with the phenomena. Of course, there's a chemically induced ones, and I wouldn't suggest doing that by all means. But there are different ways, you know. It's been done so many ways, through fasting, through chemicals, meditation, natural process, even brain stimulus through equipment now that they're using. And it's a bit like a God helmet, if you can know what those are. It's about stimulating parts of the brain, and it's about frequencies, and it's about focusing consciousness, not singular, but group consciousness, just like a church. Because the church is just a building without people in it, because that's what church means, gathering of people. That's the energy, it's the battery in the church. And it's the same process. Psionic circles at the basic level refer to the flower effect, where you literally are touching heads with everybody lying in a circle. You're concentrating in one part of the sky, you're wanting something to come down. You're already an experiencer, and this is what they want to do. But they've gone further now, utilizing equipment, utilizing high technologies to try and entice them down. And apparently they claim to be successful. However, word of warning, don't believe everything that you're told. Jake Barber used to work for Northrop Grumman. Northrop Grumman's Corporation America is a multinational aerospace defense company with 97,000 employees and an annual revenue of excess of 40 billion. It is one of the world's largest, get this, largest weapons manufacturer and military technology providers. He worked for them. That's what Danny Sheen found out, and it's true, he did. Did the checks, he was right. How do you trust these guys when they're telling you the truth? And where did it come from? They just suddenly pop up on the scene from nowhere and say, well, look, this is a piece of footage of me doing this and this, that, and the other in a helicopter. Well, yes, he had a logistic company, and he had helicopters and planes and trucks and things, and they move things for anybody, really, if you pay the right money. And you get things like this, well, you know, the egg, you know. And apparently there's fake footage out there of another egg. And this is the problem we dealt with all the time. But what we do know is that there are people utilizing patents for this technology and getting millions. And you have to ask, where's this technology come from? It's in the wrong hands, guys. It's in the profiteers. It's in the weapons manufacturing departments and companies. It's not even in the military complex hands sometimes. It's in their hands. We're losing controls. And if you think back to earlier presidents that said, beware the military-industrial complex, he was right, because he knew they're taking control. Joe Rogan talked recently with these two guys, and they just, you know, there was just one problem after the other. And one of the things that mostly stood out to me was, Roswell happened because there was an electrical storm. And you know, electrical storms, UFOs don't go hand in hand. Does anybody remember going back to the 1990s of the STS video footage that they used to put out of NASA? How many times are those videos showing UFOs gravitating around electrical storms on planet Earth? What a load of rubbish. Again, and this is the problem. You've got all these people coming out. We don't really know who they are. They're telling you all sorts of different things. But it's pot guess most of the time. All you've got to do is go back in time, do the research. And you go, no, do you know what? don't have a problem with electrical storms. In Flash of Beauty, I don't know if anybody's seen it on the internet. It's a very good documentary. These guys now are saying UFOs are being seen in association with Bigfoot and other cryptids. They're also saying they're balls of light that the cryptids turn into. They've seen them turn into balls of light and shoot off. What the hell is all that about? In Bempton, they have cryptids. There's sightings of strange things there, including the light phenomena. It goes hand in hand. Again, another example of these things. There is cloaked figures.
Yeah.
Pieces that are supporting it at either
Yeah,
end.
that had to been, you know,
Yeah.
like a thrust and not a hang, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? 'Cause if
Something
if they
hard
don't
and
hunt on
fast.
it for any amount of time,
The heck was that? Did you see that?
They've been checking it out. You know,
Yeah.
like a thrust and not a hang, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? 'Cause if
Something
if they
hard
don't
and
hunt on it
fast.
for any amount of time,
The heck was that? Did you see that?
And Sam's been, you know,
Yeah.
like a thrust and not a hang, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? 'Cause if they-
Something
if they
hard
don't
and
hunt on it
fast.
for any amount.
These things are all over the world, but they're in usually national forests, usually areas where Bigfoot's been seen, and they seem to be cloaked. Now, if you just want to talk to a normal person and say, oh, it's a bit like the Predator in the Predator movie, it seems to be something is bending light around there, and they seemingly, you wouldn't see them if they didn't move, but occasionally when they do move, you do catch them. And the problem is, they're in key locations where paranormal activities happened, they're in key locations where UFOs are taking place, and Bigfoot and creatures like this, cryptids. People have captured even footprints of Bigfoot and took them home. Oh, I still have paranormal things, poltergeist stuff breaks out. Just because they took the plaster cast back home. Why? Because it's all connected.
So the next frame is zoomed in a little bit more.
These are
You see
micro
it now?
UAP. They're only small,
It
but
flies
they
down
exist.
there, it checks things out, and then flies up, and then flies at
No, they're
full
only
speed
small.
right past my
And they're
drone
moving
as I'm
fast.
going towards it. And you can't see what it is. So now this is
You can
zoomed
see
in
it here.
the field.
There
You
it
see
is.
this object come down. It like stops nearly, but it's like it's checking things out. It's actually routinely going and checking
See it?
things like it was a bug, but like
And it
way too
flies.
big to be a bug. And then boom.
You know, micro UAPs are around as well. So the biggest thing I can say here, the best advice is, from what we now know, from the research we've gathered, is that there is no safe locations out there if phenomena wants to interact with you. You won't be aware of it because it's got all the skills and mechanisms to deceive you. You won't be aware of it unless your fight or flight kicks in. And that's the most important thing. That's the giveaway. As Barry said many times, it's that survival sense kicking in, saying, just because you don't see it, just because you don't hear it, it doesn't mean it's not there. So listening to yourself is a key area here. And I always have to say, it's about expressing caution when dealing with this stuff, especially long term, because if you do and it gets under your skin, it can kind of cause a few problems when taking it back home. Jackie's always complaining, never bring them at work home. I tend to do that. Thank you very much.